The stars were silent. Space, wide and endless, floated with quiet mystery. In that silence, a faint signal moved across the black sky, weak, broken, and full of sadness. "Please, someone. Help me, I'm still here, For 13 days. The message repeated. No one answered. It was just noise for most people. Another strange signal in the galaxy. Nothing special, but tonight, someone was listening. Jack Rayner sat in his small workshop near Earth's orbit. His ship repair station was old, full of broken machines and forgotten parts. He lived alone, fixing things no one cared about anymore. The room was quiet, only the sound of soft music in the background. Then, a beep. Jack looked up. His comm scanner was blinking. "What now?" he whispered, wiping oil off his hands. The scanner wasn't supposed to work anymore. It was a cheap, old model from years ago. But somehow it had caught something. He pressed play. Static. Then a voice, weak, tired, scared. "Please, someone, I need help." Jack frowned. He played it again. The same broken cry. "Please, hear me. I'm still alive. Something about the voice touched him. It wasn't human, but close. The sadness felt real, like someone was truly lost. And alone. Jack sat down and played the message again and again. His heart beat faster each time. He didn't know why. Maybe it was the fear in her voice. Maybe it was the way she sounded like someone from his past. Someone he couldn't forget. Years ago, Jack had a sister. Her name was Mia. She was smart, kind, and brave. One day, during a storm mission on Mars, she disappeared. No one found her. No one tried hard enough. Jack never got over it. Now, this voice felt like that same kind of loss. That same silence he heard when Mia was gone. He opened his console and tracked the signal. The data shocked him. "What the hell?" Jack whispered. The signal was coming from the Zeta 13 zone, a dead part of space. A banned zone. No travel, no contact. Government warnings marked it reedy. Anyone found there was labeled a criminal. Or never came back. But the signal was real. And someone was out there. For 13 days, no ship had gone to check. Why? He opened the galactic logs. No reports. No rescue attempts. Everyone ignored it. Maybe they were scared. Maybe they thought it was a trap. Or maybe they didn't care. Jack stood up and stared at his dusty, half-broken ship outside his window. It hadn't flown in years. But its engine still worked, just enough for a short trip. He knew it was crazy, but he also knew what it felt like. To call for help and be ignored. He made a decision. All night Jack worked. He cleaned the engine, patched wires, rebooted the nav system. He didn't sleep. He didn't even eat. In the morning, he sent a message to an old friend. "Got something. Need backup." Zeta 13. The reply came fast. "You're insane, Jack. That zone is off limits. Military rule. No one goes there." Jack replied, "Then don't come. I'm going alone." He loaded supplies, checked fuel, grabbed his old pulse gun, just in case. As he sat in the pilot seat, he played the signal one last time. "Please, help me." He closed his eyes. "I'm coming," he whispered. Jack's ship, the Dust Runner, lifted off slowly, leaving the safety of Earth's orbit. It shook with old age but held together. The stars welcomed him with cold silence. As he entered deep space, warnings flashed on his screen. Zeta 13 zone ahead. Turn back now. Entry is a galactic CRMZ. Ignored them. Hours passed. Then, another beep. His ship picked up the signal again, louder this time, closer. Jack leaned forward. His screen showed something. A small alien craft, floating alone. No lights. No movement. Just waiting. His heart pounded. He slowed down and turned on the scanner. Life signs: 1, weak, unstable. She was still alive. 13 days. And still fighting. Jack reached for the com link. "Hello?" he said. "Can you hear me? I'm coming to help." Silence. Then, very softly, "You heard me." The voice was real. The woman was real, and Jack was the first person to answer. Asterisk stars moved like silent watchers across the dark sky as Jack's ship, the Dust Runner, crossed into unmarked space. No traffic, no signals, no satellites. Just empty silence that stretched endlessly in every direction. The warning signs had stopped showing on his screen. The system refused to track him now. Zeta 13 was more than restricted. It was erased from official maps. A place the galaxy chose to forget inside the cockpit. Jack kept one hand on the control stick and the other near his emergency thruster. Every sound inside the ship felt louder. The hum of the engine, the buzz of the oxygen unit, even his own breathing. But outside, nothing moved. He checked the scanner again. The alien craft was still there, floating in the same location. Life signs still weak. No power detected. No movement. He whispered into the cam. "I'm almost there." "Hold on." No reply came back this time. He tightened his seatbelt. A strange feeling crept into his chest. Not fear, not exactly. It was something else. Something like being watched. Like the silence wasn't just quiet, but full of unseen eyes ahead of him. The alien ship appeared through the window. Smooth silver hull, cracked on one side, scorch marks across its body. The ship looked like it had been hit by something powerful and left for dead. Jack slowed down and rotated the Dust Runner for docking. His hands moved carefully, steady and slow. As the clamps connected with the alien ship, a faint click echoed inside his cockpit. "Airlock secure." He stood up and grabbed his tool bag and blaster. Just in case, he opened the door to the connecting tunnel. The air inside the alien ship was cold. Too cold. Lights were dead. Walls covered in a thin layer of frost. Like time had stopped here. He turned on his wrist torch. The beam cut through the dark hallway. Strange writing covered the walls. Symbols. He didn't understand, but one thing was clear. This ship wasn't made for war. It looked more like a scout or a science vessel. He walked slowly, calling out, "This is Jack Rayner. I'm here to help." "Do you hear me?" No answer. He turned a corner and found a control room. Broken screens, sparks from open wires, a half-shattered control board. Something had hit this ship hard. But from the inside he moved further. Another hallway. More frost. Then he heard something, a sound like breathing. Weak, faint, but definitely there. He followed it. His torch landed on a figure lying against the wall, small, thin, covered in a silver suit torn at the shoulder. Her skin was pale blue, eyes closed. Not human, but not fully alien either. She looked almost familiar, as if some part of her had Earth's story inside it. Jack knelt beside her, checked her pulse. Still alive. He reached into his bag and pulled out a med injector. Pressed it gently against her neck. After a few seconds, her eyelids moved, her lips opened slightly, and the words came out like wind. "You came." Jack blinked. "Yes. I heard your signal." Her eyes opened fully now. Deep violet, glowing softly in the dark. "They left me here. They thought I would die. 13 days, no food, no light. I kept sending the signal." Jack nodded slowly. "Why were you here?" She looked away. "Because I know something I wasn't supposed to." The ship shook suddenly. Jack stood up, blaster ready. Another signal appeared on his ship's radar. A second craft entering the Zeta 13 zone. Fast, armed. He looked back at the woman. "We need to go." Now she tried to stand but stumbled. Jack caught her and pulled her arm over his shoulder. "What's your name?" "Lyra." "All right, Lyra. Stay with me." He helped her back through the tunnel to the Dust Runner. Behind them, the alien ship made a low groaning sound, metal creaking like it was collapsing from inside as they entered Jack's ship. The radar flashed red. Unknown vessel approaching. Jack closed the hatch and jumped into the pilot's seat. Lyra sat beside him, breathing hard. Whoever they are, they followed. Your signal, they won't let you leave, Lyra said quietly. Jack looked at her. We'll see about that. He powered up the engines. The dust runner shook as it pulled away from the wreck. In the distance, the new ship came into view. Black, fast, and clearly not friendly. Jack pushed the thrusters. The chase had begun. Engines roared as the dust runner sped through the dark path of Zeta-13 space. Behind it, the enemy ship stayed close, a shadow that refused to fall back. Jack held the control stick tight, fingers sweating, jaw locked beside him. Lyra sat quiet, her breath shallow, her eyes half-closed, knew she was running out of time. He had only minutes to get her safe. A cluster of rocks appeared on the radar, a small asteroid belt, unstable but wide enough to lose a tail. Jack made a sharp turn and entered the maze of floating stone. The enemy ship followed. Slower now, more careful. One wrong move and they would crash. Jack moved like a thread through a needle, sharp, precise, focused. He reached the end of the belt and saw it. A hidden station, old, forgotten, still running on backup power. No lights outside. No signals sent. But the door was open. Jack flew in without a second thought. Metal walls closed behind them. Safe for now. Engines powered down. Silence returned. He looked over at Lyra. Her head had dropped back. Her skin looked colder than before. Stay with me. He stood up and carried her toward the medbay inside the station. The hallway smelled of rust and age. Long wires hung from the ceiling. Screens flickered with low energy. Whoever built this place had left it years ago. He placed Lyra on the HFY med table and searched for working systems. The scanner came alive slowly. Weak pulse, dehydrated, internal damage. She needs treatment now. He grabbed a stim-pack from the shelf and injected her again. Her chest moved slightly, then her fingers twitched. Her eyes opened. This place, it was a research hub. Years ago, my people used it to study life from different worlds. Checked the logs. Files had been deleted. Sections of the station were locked down. Why? Did they leave because they were hiding something? Lyra sat up slowly. Her voice was stronger. Now Jack looked at her. What did you find? She touched her chest. I found a project. One that involved humans. That's not possible. Jack stepped back. Your people avoided Earth. Not always. They watched from afar. Took samples. Tried experiments. What kind of experiments? She hesitated. The kind that changed DNA. The kind that made soldiers without pain, without fear. Using pieces of human life. Jack's mind froze. He remembered the signal, the silence of the government. The way this zone was hidden. They abandoned you because you knew. Yes, and because I refused to help them finish it. Jack paced the room. If that's true, Earth could be in danger. Lyra nodded. That's why they chased my ship. That's why they left me. To die. If you hadn't come, no one would know. He looked at the station files again. One of them blinked. A backup file was still alive. Buried under false names. Jack clicked it open. Images appeared. Test subjects, charts, maps of Earth cities. This isn't just an experiment. It's a plan. They're building something. He copied the data to his drive. We need to get this out. People need to know. Lyra stood beside him, her body weak but her face strong. They will come again. They won't stop until I'm gone, until that file is gone. Then we don't give them time. Jack turned to the control panel. We leave now. We go to someone who can help us spread this. She grabbed his arm. They will follow. They will kill to protect this secret. Jack stared at the screen. Not if we move first. Not if we make them afraid of the truth. Outside the station, the shadows began to move again. Lights blinked in the distance. Ships were coming. Jack didn't wait. He grabbed his gear, helped Lyra back to the ship, powered up the engines as the dust runner lifted into the dark again. Lyra looked out the window. This is not just about me anymore. This is about both our worlds. Jack nodded. Then we fight for both. Space felt heavier now. Not because of gravity, but because of truth. The dust runner moved through the black void like a ghost with purpose. Inside, Jack sat still, his eyes fixed on the flashing data screen. The stolen files from the station were open. Pages of alien code, images of humans in strange chambers. Reports written in 2 languages, one he knew, one he didn't. Lyra stood behind him. She wasn't looking at the screen. She was looking at Earth glowing far in the distance. Small blue unaware Jack pointed at a file. These people, are they dead? No, they are waiting frozen, stored in deep space labs. Taken from Earth long ago. Jack turned sharply. That's not possible. We would have known. Families would have reported them. Lyra shook her head slowly. Your planet loses people every day. Some are never found. Your systems are too large, too broken, too blind. Jack leaned forward. His heart was racing. Why would they do this? Why take humans? Because your biology is powerful. You adapt faster than most species. You survive damage, you resist mind control. And you feel emotion even when broken. Jack stared at her. They wanted to build weapons from us, yes, but not weapons with guns or claws. Weapons that look like peace, but carried death inside their cells. Jack scrolled through the data. He saw names, dates, coordinates. Some places he knew. Some were deep in space. One was near Mars, another near Saturn's rings. Copied the coordinates, saved them to a secure drive. His hands were shaking, but his voice was steady. How long has this been happening? Since before you were born. Since your kind began sending signals into space, and no one stopped them. No one knew, or those who did vanished. He closed the screen, stood up, faced her. Why did you turn against them? Because I saw a child human trapped in a tube, crying without sound. She looked at me, not like an alien, not like a prisoner. She looked at me like I was the last person who could save her, and I did nothing. Jack's eyes softened. But you're doing something. Now Lyra nodded, but her face stayed hard. They won't let me do it again. They will track this ship. They will silence this truth unless we share it. Before they arrived, Jack opened a COM link. An old contact list appeared. One name blinked red: Captain Reyes. Outer Signal News. She's a journalist. One of the few who still takes risks. Can you trust her? Don't know, but she saved my life once. And she hates secrets more than she fears death. He sent a burst transmission, encrypted quick, with only a location and a line of text. Found something big. Come alone, bring truth. Jack turned to Lyra. We wait 1 hour. If she comes, we give her the files. If not, we run again. Lyra sat down. Her voice was lower now. There's something else. Jack looked at her. The experiments, as some of them succeeded. Some of the test subjects escaped. They look human, but they are not. Jack felt a chill move through his spine. Where are they now? I don't know, but they were programmed with missions, to blend in, to watch, to act. When Khaled, you're saying there are altered humans walking Earth right now? Yes, and they don't even know what they are. Jack opened the window shield. Earth shone bright in the distance, full of people, full of danger. He clenched his fists. Then we wake them up, one truth at a time. Signal beeped. New ship approaching. Not military, not enemy. One seat, one signal. It was Captain Reyes. Lyra looked at Jack. You ready to break a galaxy open? He nodded once without fear. Let's begin. The dust runner floated in a quiet orbit, near a broken moon behind it. Captain Reyes' small scout ship attached like a whisper. No alarms, no guns, just silence and speed inside. Jack stood across from Reyes, her jacket worn, her hair short, eyes sharp like glass that had seen too many lies. She held the data drive in one hand, a cigarette in the other. No smoke, just habit. This is real. She didn't ask. She told. Jack nodded once. Every line, every image. She looked at Lyra, alien, tired, not afraid. And what about her? Reyes asked. She's the reason we're alive. Jack said. Reyes didn't blink. Then let's stay that way. She pocketed the drive and turned toward the airlock. He'll broadcast in 2 hours. Full signal, wide reach. The galaxy's going to burn. The airlock opened. She was gone. Jack watched her ship disappear into the void. Now we wait, he said quietly, but waiting wasn't the plan. Lyra stood near the radar screen, her body stiff, eyes locked. They're already coming, she said. Jack turned to look. 2 enemy ships, fast, built for speed. No ID, no call signs. They know you sent the file. They know you're not running anymore. Jack jumped into the pilot seat. Engines warm, shields rise, weapons online. But the dust runner was old, small, built for travel, not for war. He needed time. Time they didn't have. We hide, he said. No, Lyra answered. We lure. She pulled up a map. A stretch of asteroid field ahead. Inside it, an abandoned fuel station, still active, No one goes there, too risky, too unstable. Smiled without smiling perfect. He turned the ship, engines roared behind them. The hunters followed like shadows that never slept inside the asteroid field. Jack flew like a man with nothing left to lose. Stone crashed against the hull, lights blinked. Warning, screamed. Lyra stayed calm, watching their tail, tracking every move. They're not trying to kill us, she said. Then what they want to capture? Interrogator race. Good luck with that. The dust runner slipped through a gap between two floating rocks. Straight into the fuel station bay. He shut off the power, went dark. The enemy ship slowed, then stopped scanning. Waiting, Jack whispered. They don't see us. Lyra whispered back, they're listening. He held his breath. One mistake, one sound, and they would be inside. Minutes passed like hours. Then movement. One ship stayed outside. The other docked. Jack looked at Lyra. Ready? She nodded. Let's hunt the hunters. Inside the station, dark cold metal creaked like an old beast trying to wake. Jack moved first, blaster in hand, footsteps light. Lyra moved like a shadow, silent, precise. They reached the hallway, a sound ahead. Boots. 3 of them. Tall, armored, not human. The lead enemy spoke in a strange tongue, then broke into English. She is not to be harmed, we only need the human. Jack didn't wait, he fired. Once hit the wall. Second shot caught one in the shoulder. Lyra moved faster than thought. She hit the second one low, spun behind and drove a shock rod into his spine. Sparks flew, he dropped. The third enemy raised his weapon. Jack dove. The shot hit the wall above. Jack rolled, aimed, pulled the trigger, click, empty. But Lyra was already there. She struck the enemy's neck. He fell hard, breathing heavy. Jack looked around. 3 bodies, one still alive. Lyra leaned close, her voice cold. Tell your command, she's not alone anymore. She stood, looked at Jack. We send a message now. They think they're hunters. We just became the storm. Asterisk. The dust runner flew low across the shadow side of a dying planet. Storms raged below, but the ship stayed steady. Above them, silence. Behind them, ashes of a fight inside the cockpit. Jack stared at the map glowing on the screen. 7 coordinates marked in red, each one a secret lab, each one connected to the alien project. Lyra stood beside him. Her eyes did not blink. Her voice was clear. If we destroy them all, the program dies. Jack stayed quiet. His hand rested on the edge of the console. He knew what she meant, and he knew what it would cost. Lives would be lost. Ships would follow. But Earth would finally see the truth. His thoughts were broken by the voice of Captain Reyes on the Comlink broadcast. Went live. Data hit the outer colonies. Half of them are in shock. The other half is ready to fight. Jack exhaled, but his chest stayed tight. And Earth. Reyes paused. Earth is silent. Of course it is. He looked at Lyra. They always wait until it is too late. Reyes continued. You asked for a choice. Here it is. I can spread your coordinates to resistance cells, or we can erase everything and run. Jack looked at the red marks on the screen. Again, his past was behind him. But this was not about his past. It was about tomorrow. He reached for the switch. Lyra placed her hand on his. Are you sure? He looked at her with steady eyes. Running won't change anything. Then we fight. He pressed the switch. The ship's path locked onto the first red mark. They moved toward a silent facility, orbiting a cold blue star. No signals, no defenses, but something felt wrong. Jack powered the ship down before entry. He and Lyra suited up. No words, just action inside the facility. Empty halls, dim lights. The silence of something already gone. They reached the main room. Screen still active. One file open. Jack stepped closer. The screen showed his face, name, age, DNA structure. Lyra moved beside him. There's more. She pressed a button. A second image appeared. A child's small eyes, familiar, human, but labeled as prototype 2. Jack felt his heartbeat change. His voice cracked without sound. They used me. Lyra touched the screen gently. They copied you, cloned parts, added pieces. You were the first successful merge. Jack stared at the child's eyes. It looked like him, but not quite. He turned to Lyra. Did you know? She shook her head. Not until now. The door behind them opened. Without warning, a man walked in, tall, clean, smiling. Without warmth. You were not supposed to see this. His voice was smooth like glass, sliding across steel. Jack raised his weapon. The man did not flinch. You are not the enemy. You are the result. Lyra stepped Forward, you built an army with stolen souls. We built hope. The man answered hope with a trigger. Jack fired, but the man vanished before the blast hive. "It's not real," Lyra said, "only projection. They left this here for us to find a message or a trap." Jack copied the files, took the child's image, stored them all. Then he looked at Lyra. "We can't just fight them. We have to show them. Show the world what they made." Lyra nodded. "They used your DNA to build soldiers, but they never gave them choice." Jack turned to the link cries. "Send everything open access. Let the people decide." There was no reply at first. Then Reyes spoke once. "I send this. There's no going back." "Good," Jack said. "That's the point." The file uploaded. The galaxy changed, ships moved, leaders panicked, crowds demanded answers. But not everyone wanted truth. Radar flashed warning signs, lit the cockpit. Enemy fleet approaching. Heavy weapons, zero communication. Jack stared at the screen. "Now they come." Lyra, strapped in, face calm, eyes full of purpose. "Then let them." The sky above Earth was no longer silent. It burned with signals broadcast from across the stars. Voices shouting what had been hidden. Images showing what had been stolen. The truth had arrived, and it did not ask for permission. The Dust Runner flew low over the dark side of Luna Station. Jack at the controls, Lyra at his side. Below them, panic. Above them, orders for silence. They were not running anymore. They were coming home with fire inside the ship. The last data core was locked and loaded. A transmission bomb. Once sent, every system on Earth would receive it. No gatekeepers, no passwords, just truth. Jack opened the captain. Reyes was already waiting. "Are you sure?" she asked. Jack's answer was simple. "We gave them a chance to speak. They stayed quiet. Now we speak louder." Lyra watched the moon fall behind them, Earth rising ahead. Her voice was calm. "This is where it started. This is where it ends." Jack counted the seconds. Their ship broke through atmosphere. Alarms rang across the global defense grid. They were tagged as threats. Every major city prepared for lockdown. Too late. He activated the drop. The core launched. One signal became 1,000. Then 1,000,000 screens lit up in every home, every office, every outpost. People watched. People listened. They saw the faces of the test subjects. They saw the children in frozen tanks. They saw the reports written by hands that called themselves scientists, and they saw Jack standing in front of the galaxy. No medals, no rank, only truth. His voice filled the world. "You took us, you changed us, you built something with our lives and called it peace. We are not your weapons, we are not your mistakes. We are your warning." Across Earth, reactions split like lightning. Some shouted for justice, some demanded silence. Some felt fear, others felt something stronger, anger and purpose. The resistance rose in hours. Military leaders refused orders. Scientists confessed on live feeds. Governing bodies fractured. The empire that ruled from the dark began to fall apart, but not without a fight from deep orbit. The enemy ships fired. The Dust Runner shook, one wing torn, shields gone. Jack spun the ship. Lyra fired countershots. They dodged into low orbit, flying between towers and clouds. They had started a storm now. They had to survive it. An explosion hit the engine. Jack lost control. They spiraled toward the sea. He looked at Lyra, no panic in her eyes, only trust. They braced for impact. Waves rose like mountains. Metal screamed. Then silence. The wreck floated under the stars. Smoke rose. Water calmed. Jack opened his eyes, crawled from the wreckage. Lyra followed, burns on her arm, blood on his face. But they were alive. Ships flew overhead. Not enemy, not government, civilian crafts, broadcasting Jack's message on repeat. People had chosen sides, and they chose truth. Lyra stood beside Jack on a floating piece of metal, the planet turning behind them. "You gave them a reason to see," she said. "You gave them a reason to fight." He answered. They looked up as one ship lowered. Reyes at the front, smiling through scars and smoke. "Get in," she called. "We're just getting started." Jack helped Lyra climb aboard. The ship rose into the sky behind them. The wreck of the Dust Runner sank into the ocean, but its legacy had already reached the stars. This was not the end of a war. It was the beginning of something else, a new world, built by those who refused to stay quiet, protected by those who once cried for help and heard an answer.